My name is Yari Osorio of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and I'm running for Vice President of the United States. A slogan of our campaign is Fight for Socialism. Yes, it's bold, but much more than that, it's our goal. The fight for socialism is precisely why we exist as a political party. We are building a movement of working and poor people throughout this country to overthrow the dictatorship of the 1%. We are building a movement that will dismantle their corporations and banks because we, the people, produce the tremendous wealth of our society. It belongs to us. Our campaign is to fight for socialism, and that is because capitalism is a corrupt, rotten, and bankrupt system. Capitalism is a dictatorship of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich. In fact, the 400 richest people in the United States have more wealth than half of all Americans combined. Meanwhile, 3.5 million people experience homelessness every year. 49 million people are food insecure. On a daily basis, the 99% suffer from unemployment, lack of access to healthcare and education, racism, bigotry, police violence, and mass incarceration. The list can go on and on. These abuses are not a result of a lack of resources. It is because capitalism is a failed system. This is the richest country in the history of the world. We created the wealth, but instead of it being used to meet our needs, the 1% and their political managers in the White House and in Congress make sure the money goes straight to the Wall Street bankers so that it can be reinvested to generate more profits for the already rich. Furthermore, our tax money funds the U.S. war machine to the tune of about $1 trillion a year. These wars are responsible for killing millions of workers and destroying countries in the name of spreading freedom and democracy, when the real goal is to open up and dominate new markets for corporations. It doesn't have to be this way. The Party for Socialism and Liberation knows that the 99% are capable of building a movement in order to make that revolution so that we can win the society that we deserve. The society that we deserve is a socialist society. By this, I mean we would have a government of, by, and for working and poor people. For the Party for Socialism and Liberation, socialism is not a concept. In fact, we have a program that describes what a socialist society would look like. A socialist government would abolish the current capitalist government and expropriate the private wealth of the banks and corporations, putting it into the hands of working and poor people. Wall Street's reign of terror would end for good. A socialist government would make a job, healthcare, education, and affordable housing constitutional rights. It would make the highest priority of eliminating the legacy of institutionalized racism, bigotry, and inequalities affecting wide sectors of the working class. Civic participation and representation would be guaranteed through democratically organized workplace, neighborhood, and social committees. There would be no big business political candidates or parties. The legal and criminal justice system would be turned on its head, or rather back on its feet. Instead of perpetuating racism and class privilege, a new system would be constructed based on building unity and solidarity. Safeguarding the environment and making efforts to remedy environmental degradation would be top priorities. There would be the right to retire with dignity. Citizenship would automatically be granted to all people living in the United States. Access to contraception and abortion would be guaranteed. Equality would be realized for the LGBT community. Since the government would exist to meet people's needs, all wars for profit would end immediately. All U.S. military bases would be dismantled. Relations with the people of the world would be established on the basis of mutual solidarity, cooperation, and understanding. It's for all these reasons that we need socialism. Socialism would allow the people of the United States to begin to realize their hopes and dreams for a better future. We, in the Party for Socialism and Liberation, are not idealists. We're not dreamers. We know without a shadow of a doubt that we can create this world if we unite, organize, occupy, rise up, and build a revolutionary movement. As Albie Sachs, a South African activist and judge, once said, "All revolutions are impossible until they happen. Then they become inevitable." The abolishment of slavery, the women's movement for suffrage in the 20s, the struggle for workers' rights in the 30s, the civil rights movements in the 60s, these are all achievements that our society once thought were impossible. These achievements are evidence that we do indeed have the power to recreate society. This is what the PSL Lindsay Osorio 2012 presidential campaign is about. Building the socialist struggle and pushing for revolutionary change that we the people so desperately need. We don't just want to win an election, we want to win our futures. So join us in the struggle. Visit votepsl.org to learn more about the Peta Lindsay, Yari Osorio campaign and work with us. Together, we can create a better world.